Welcome to the holiday edition of Caldwell County Today. Joining me today is our friend Eric Stafford.
Yo.
Everybody knows Eric. We have a new team member, Mallory Keller.
Hi.
Most festive.
Most festive Mallory. And of course, I'm your host, Paige Counts. So we're here today to talk about our Christmas memories. And I don't know how we want to start this. Eric, we're just...
I just kind of wanted us to get together and do a little bit of something and talk about our Christmas memories. We kind of had done that with Keegan. Now we got Mallory. I was going to make Mallory come in and do something. But I was just, I don't know. I was going to show some pictures of us as kids and what we remember.
Does he have some pictures? I'm just
Boy, howdy.
I'm just looking at mine here.
So, yeah. But anyway, just to kind of go over some Christmas pictures. And we'll be looking at them here, but you guys will see them on the screen. So that's the idea. But anyway, I started out in TV.
You did start out in TV.
You did.
Oh, look.
But the funny thing is I'm sitting there watching a blank TV.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
So it's not on. But it is Christmas because there's an advent calendar on top of the TV.
And you're wearing red socks.
I am wearing red socks.
Yeah, where's your hat, Eric?
I have no hat in that one.
No.
He had to grow before he could get the hat.
Yeah, I had to grow before it could fit into the hat. But anyway, I'm sitting there my entire life, sitting in front of a blank TV screen, waiting for something to happen. So there you go. But
somebody was up on top of the house.
I guess, or because we had just the antenna back then.
Did you have the rotary thing?
We weren't that fancy. Now my aunt had that, but we didn't, and we lived past High Brighton Mountain in town, and so you didn't get a whole lot.
We got 2 channels.
We saw WLOS in Asheville, and I think I remember seeing Channel 36 in Charlotte.
What about PBS?
And you got PBS, and then when they put the whatever their little transmitters in Linville, then we really got it, like about in the 80s. But and WXII in Winston-Salem, I remember us picking that up. So we got like a lot bigger area,
right? Because
than we do now.
Living off the Abington Road, we got WBTV and WSCC Channel 9.
I do remember seeing
CBS
Channel 9 later
or
on. But
ABC, that was our choices.
But because of High Brighton Mountain, when cable came to town, we got cable as soon as it came to town.
Well, when you lived in Collinsville,
it took a long time to get there.
And my mama would say, I don't want one of those big dishes in my yard, so that was out.
So no satellite.
And they were huge.
They were like, yeah.
They're the kind that we used in broadcast now. They were huge.
They were mammoth.
You could just take them off and use it for a sled.
Or the hood of a car.
You could put the whole family on that and sled down the hill.
Put some Pam on it.
Yeah, you can really go.
And speaking of the broadcast stuff, when it snowed, we had to go on the roof of the station and sweep the snow out of the satellite dishes so that everything kept running for the people at home. So yeah, you had to bounce on the roof, bounce on the roof, and make sure it was. I mean, it was a flat roof, but you still had to go out on the edge. So hazard pay. But anyway, but that was I started in TV, so that started with that, and then there I am. That's my grandfather being my mom's daddy, Ira Greer, being Santa Claus, which of course I'm oblivious to that. And then my 2 sisters, Sarah and Deanna, and my cousin Tim. So that was my cousin Jeff had yet to appear, or he was a young baby and was not walking. So, but he's a year younger.
He could not make it himself to Santa.
He was not there. So, and this one I couldn't stand it because I am a toy guy, and this was just like all the toys and stuff that was out for that Christmas. And I know that was mine. I had the Popeye puppet, but my sister's little vanity and all that stuff.
I like the little vanity.
We destroyed. It was plastic.
Oh yeah, they didn't
I'm
last
sure.
long.
Well, it lasted a pretty good while. I mean, it lasted some years. But anyway, that's me and the grandpa that was there before, Ira Greer. That's me sitting there with him on the sofa.
I know those curtains.
And look at the tinsel on the tree.
Yeah, we got tinsel on the tree. We didn't have any indoor pets, so tinsel was fine. So,
I love
so we
tinsel.
could throw tinsel. I love tinsel too, but we didn't have any indoor pets, so we didn't do any of that. It's another year. Got a wagon, so it's not a little red wagon.
It's not
a
red
blue. It's a blue Sears wagon, buddy. Because my dad worked for Sears, so everything we had came from Sears. My dad worked at Sears. My mom worked at Belk. My grandma worked at Belk's, and so everything we got came from Sears or Belk's.
And we're in the building.
Yeah, we're in the old Belk
Yeah,
building,
we
and this is where I come to see Grandma. And when I'd come in here to see Grandma when I was about this age, then she would give us like 50 cents to get like a Tom's a Lance cracker and a Coke.
Oh.
And so when
That's
we
a big
come,
deal.
so you always wanted to come see Grandma because
Yeah.
then you got snacks. So
Who doesn't love snacks?
and she would go in her little office, which was they had like a back room, and she would go back there and get out her little granny purse and get out and dig in her change and give you the money. And it was the machines were right where the elevators are on the bottom floor here. So the machines were right in front, and the elevator smells the same as it did in 1970. It smells exactly the same. It's whatever grease they use or whatever. But like I say, Daddy worked for Sears, so here we are waiting in line to see Santa Claus. And see, okay, Sears had a catalog store in Lenore, and it's Wayne Gravely's now.
Yeah.
Okay, so but that's where my dad worked and was based out of, which is just over the hill from Daddy's house. So we were where I grew up. So we're standing in line, and I love how my dad has got to be 20 something and looks so disgusted to be standing in line with his 3 kids. Which I don't know why, because he's the most Christmassy type person that there is. He's always a jolly man, but in that picture he just looks like he is so disgusted, and I don't know if it's just waiting in line.
Might have been he had a hard day.
It might have been he had a hard day, or whoever was Santa. Now, when I got older, Daddy, of course, got bigger than this picture, and he went out, not up, and so he was Santa. And they paid him to be Santa at Sears. And I have a picture, I couldn't find it, but I have a Polaroid picture of me with his beard and hat on when I was like maybe 11. And they were all hurt and disgusted because, well, Eric don't believe in Santa Claus because his dad is Santa Claus. But hey, I still got toys, and I was happy.
Hey, Santa has to have help.
So.
Yeah,
there's Santas that help the big Santa, the real Santa.
Right.
Now, I had to throw in Grandma and Grandpa Stafford because I felt like they were underwhelmed, underrepresented here. But, we always spent Christmas, we hit everybody's house, like you guys. And actually, at the Staffords, we spent most of the night because by the time we got there, it was about 8 o'clock, and then we would stay until, I remember one year they started cooking breakfast. It was like 4 or 5 in the morning. And we stayed there that late. The kids, we just went to sleep on the couch. But you drew names over at Grandma Stafford's. Everybody else's, everybody got like a mishmash of stuff. But you kind of got some really quality stuff at Grandma Stafford's, and everybody drew names and spent all their money on one kid. So it was a little different. And there I am with a Burger King hat. It's got to be winter. I've got on a Daytona sweatshirt. So I'm assuming that was when we were cleaning the living room. But I got my Burger King hat, which there wasn't a Burger King here until, so that's from New York. That's when my grandparents lived in New York and had brought us Burger King.
And I like the couch.
Yeah.
And he's wearing red socks again. I noticed red socks in the other.
Do you have on red socks today?
No, I don't. I do have short black socks on. I do like, but anyway, this is Eric telling tales out of school. But that sofa, my sisters, when I got older, when I was in a crib, we were all in the same room. And then it's a small house, man. And then my grandparents moved back down, so they got the bedroom. So I slept on the sofa. I didn't have a room until I was 18.
Couch.
Wow.
18 or so. So I slept on the couch, and all my comic books and all that junk were sitting out in the middle of the floor. And I'd have to clean it up. Get that up. Got out of bed. I slept on the couch every night. Got out of bed. Had to put the stuff up. So I got used to like making the bed really quick. So anyway, that's just 70s love. I couldn't stand that, so I had to show. when you'll see the ones where puberty hits, because then I get like really fat.
Look how cute.
Yeah, but that's me and Sarah and Deanna.
I started to say that's your sister.
See, Sarah's already got that middle school. There's Grandma and Grandpa. And okay, I couldn't. This is Grandma and Grandpa that lived with us, Grandma Nell and Grandpa Ira Greer. But anyway, I couldn't. I had to show it because it's got $6 million man spaceship in the bottom, which is what I got for Christmas that year. So I was all happy with that. I was like, oh my God. And then there you go. that's what happens. You get a little older.
Now, was this
you
picture
swell
taken
up.
You're dressed fancy here.
I'm dressed fancy, but I don't know why. I don't know where we were going. We weren't the biggest church people. I mean, we would go, I guess around then we did go to church, but I mean, Mama went to church.
She had to go Friday on heathens.
She had to go pray for the rest of it. Now, I would go with Mama. I would go, but I mean, I didn't go a lot, but I went a lot more than other folks. But anyway, kind of about the time my grandpa Stafford died, my dad quit going. So I think he was a little hurt. So he quit going.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah. No, I had to show this
because
this is when I started working in TV, and there's the mullet. So that's my 1993 mullet. And
hey, it's back now.
It's back now. My nephew actually looks so much like me, and he's like in his 30s, and he's got the mullet. And he looks so much like me, it's kind of funny. And I didn't take any pictures at Christmas this year. I was just like totally lazy. And so I probably should have, but memories. But anyway, I did have one of these. I had like a call letter microphone. But anyway, this is when I met Kathy, and me and Kathy, when we started dating, and this was at McDonald's in Morganton. They would take your picture with Santa. And so that's why it's got the McDonald's border. But we were in McDonald's in Morganton. We're like, hey, let's get a picture with Santa. But that's when we first started dating. And then this is 1994, and this was my grandma Greer's last Christmas, and they had told her that she only had 6 months to live.
Aww.
And all Christmas long, she cried, and I just felt so bad for her because she knew it was her last Christmas, and she cried the entire time. But she gave us all, we all got $1,000. This is 1994.
Wow.
She gave us all, every grandkid got $1,000, and then whatever else she spent on us and stuff, but she had my uncle put it in blocks of wood and wrap it up, and we had this big puzzle that we had to it was real complicated, and then she was like, she wanted to give she made you work for it, but she wanted you to have the money and her see you spend the money and have fun with it. So that's what she did. So she gave all the grandkids that. This is a few years later with Kathy, and this is probably, I'm trying to think, this had to be early 2000s, but that's at my sister Deanna's house, and we had a lot of Christmas fun there, and I just liked that picture. So
I love that picture.
I thought that was a sweet picture. But one of the best Christmases me and Kathy had, which is really kind of, as a couple, I'll say, before we had kids, was we got to go to Disney, man. And we had a press thing where Disney was showing off their Christmas lights, and so they would have the characters out and see. If you notice, Mickey's got his Christmas outfit on.
Yeah.
So, but they told us, because it was a press thing, that every time you saw somebody in a character suit at an event, at that time, this is like 2005 or maybe 2010, somewhere around there, but every time you saw somebody in a character suit, it cost the studio $400, because they got paid $400 to be in outfit, and they had every character, and all of them was in their Christmas attire. Now, when I say every, I mean like it was Mickey, Minnie, Goofy, Donald, Daisy, Chip and Dale.
Really?
I mean, it was everybody. It was full up, and then they had guys painting for our enjoyment live and stuff. It was crazy. But anyway, they had all these great lights, and I don't know if they still do the lights or not, but it was called the Osborne Light Collection that they had bought.
Because the Osborne family, I think that family actually, they broke some ordinances for their neighborhood because, like, you could see their lights from outer space.
Yeah, and they had them in the New York section of the MGM park. This is at Disney World, and so they had them there. But anyway, they were talking about the reason they had all those press people there was they were trying to get people to come to Disney at Christmas. And a lot of people don't do that. And it was great, man, because it was 70-some degrees.
Yes.
We had a hotel basically to ourselves, a pool basically to ourselves. We had a great time.
I can give you the opposite end of that. My husband's family lives in Florida, so we had gone to Florida. I think we drove down on Christmas Day. We did Christmas with my parents, and then we drove to Florida. Yes, we were that family eating at IHOP on Christmas. Which I always feel guilty about because, there's people there that have to work for you to feel, you get food. But anyway, that's another story. So Chuck and I went to Epcot the day after Christmas.
Oh, okay.
The whole world was there. It was the busiest day Epcot had ever seen.
Really?
It was packed with people. So I don't necessarily recommend the day after Christmas. If you're going to go before Christmas.
Well, I'm going to say this was around Thanksgiving. They had the Christmas stuff, but it was actually closer to Thanksgiving because it was sometime in November. But anyway, there's that. But I had to show this one. This is at my sister's house. And that's my sister Deanna's passed away. That's my mama's passed away. But that was the last time all of us were together in a picture. Oh. And so that was sometime that I remember that we were all together. But anyway, so I had to show that. But anyway, just lots of fun and good Christmases. I've always had good Christmases. I've always enjoyed Christmas. So I always have a good time. I try to.
And you just got together with your dad and
we had the Stafford Christmas this last Saturday because all the nieces and nephews now have kids and in-laws, and they're the ones doing the 4 Christmases and all that. So we were like, oh, we'll do it early. They're like, we're going to do it at 5 o'clock on Saturday, and I was like, okay. And so we just went. So,
but you have, I'm going to say special guests. You have family from Amsterdam.
We have our family from Amsterdam. My stepson Michael lives in Amsterdam, and our granddaughter Annie is here with him. Now his wife is here too, but her family's in Raleigh, and her mom is all that's left. Her dad had passed away, and so she's staying with her mom because they live out of the country. So she wants to stay with her mom, and so she's there with Bummy because that's her German name. She's full-blood German, Sereny's mom is. So and then she speaks mainly German. If you talk to her, like her dad was American and went to stay at the Air Force Base in America, the American Air Force Base, and that's how they met. And so Sereny is American, but now they got I think they both have dual citizenship now because they've been in Amsterdam for about 4 or 5 years. So. But they're there most of the time, and then they come. Sereny and Annie come in the summer, and then Michael only comes at Christmas, so usually. But he works for Booking.com, which the thing about that is all the other times they travel within Europe. So they've been like Annie's been to like 12 countries, and I've been to. I haven't been past the Mississippi yet, so.
You've been to America?
I've been to America. I've been up north. My grandparents lived in New York, so I was used to going to New York, and I've gone to New York a lot. Gone to Florida. That's about it. I ain't gone to Canada or Mexico or any of that stuff.
I think that's a commonality, though, for other countries. Like to travel.
Well, in Europe, going to another country is like us going to another state. I mean, it would essentially be like us going to Tennessee.
Right.
Well, it's actually even less than that because it's like going to Charlotte. It's like an hour away. So it's like they get on the train and it's an hour away. Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you go to the to the Alps and all these places? But I know they've been to Barcelona and they've been to lots of different places throughout Europe, and they try to go somewhere different all the time. And anyway, they're world travelers. I have Star Wars shirts from several places from around the world. But I mean, but it's good that they're home right now, and we're glad to have them, and just good to spend time with them. The COVID year, they couldn't come home, and then of course, then last year was very difficult for them. It cost them a lot of money to get here, and then they had to rush back because then you're not just dealing with our country's rules, you were dealing with their country's rules, and it was like they couldn't get back in, so they immediately had to turn around and run back and try to get back in. They had to get special tests, and it was a pain, but not this year.
Good.
Not this
We're
year.
glad.
We even went to Dario the other night,
Yeah.
so you saw the picture.
I saw the picture
we
because
went to Dario.
you know, I feel like I know Eric's family because we've worked together for a few years now. And we share stories about our family.
Yeah,
So
you're like, what you doing this weekend? Oh, well, we went here.
So I've watched Annie grow through pictures. So I'm like, oh my gosh, how tall Annie is.
Yeah, yeah. So she's like looking at Annie. The funny thing last night is that we were Christmas shopping, and our son Brent's with Annie, and he calls and says, Annie really likes this game called Throw Burrito.
Okay.
And he's like, you got to get this game. So we go to Walmart and we get Throw Burrito.
I've never heard of that one.
It is 2 burritos, and you throw them, and you say, it's like burrito fight, and then you throw one and hit each other with it. And it's like a soft burrito. It's got a little smiley face on it and everything, but there's 2 of them. And so they were throwing the burritos. But when we brought it back home, he was like, Annie really likes this game. And then he tells us that Annie already has the game in Amsterdam. It's like, it wasn't that. He just wanted to play. He wanted to play throw. They were explaining throw burrito, and so he wanted to play. And then, of course, both of them are sore losers, so we were laughing at that because they're like, and there's one point you have to do like a duel, and you take 10 paces and then turn around and throw the burrito, and they were both like looking over their shoulder, like, you're supposed to be walking and not looking, and so we were laughing at that. And, yeah. But the burritos are harder than I think they should be. But they're like squishy balls. It's like the stress balls, but they're a little harder than I think.
Depends on who's throwing it, I guess.
Yeah, Brent put a welk on you or something. Have you
Brent's I wouldn't call him a big guy. He's a tall guy.
He's a tall man, yeah. He's
a
getting
tall
up there.
young man.
Yep, he's getting up there.
And although Annie has grown, she is not anywhere near that tall.
But and I'm sure that Mallory can attest to this. I'm going to say girls hit harder because I don't know. They just feel the need to or something. Yeah, I grew up with 2 older sisters, so I got beat up all the time, and I was the little boy, and I got beat up.
The sisters.
Nah, I think it's mom. Mom trained me from the get-go to be nice. But y'all say that, and then I'm sure that Kathy would have a few things to say about that, because I'm just as much a jerk as the other guy. So.
No, I don't believe it.
Yep. Oh, believe it.
Every time he talks to Kathy, it's the sweetest thing.
It is
From
so sweet.
the conversations that I've heard.
Well, you get more with sugar. I'm sorry, you get more flies with sugar than you do being mean. So
That's true.
So why you got to be mean? If you're feeling good and everything's going good, there ain't no reason to be mean. So everything's going good.
That's a good Christmas lesson.
Yeah,
That's a good everyday lesson if you can do it.
To be mean.
My sisters would say that I do have a temper, but they're like, he gets to a point, and you get him to boiling point, and then it's like, get away. Get away, right? And my sister Sarah, she still says, if you see, because I got hazel eyes, she says if I've got gold flecks in my eyes, stay away from me.
That's good advice.
Yeah, I was going to say.
I don't know what kind of demon possession I have when that happens, but she's like, and I'm a Gemini, and so I've heard evil Eric, good Eric. I hear that a lot. So
I've only seen the good side.
Eric? Is it bad Eric today?
Well, I'll take that back.
You ain't been here long enough. Just wait.
Long
I
enough.
think one time.
Put up your dukes.
Not towards me.
Yeah. Well, no, I try not to be. I want to keep my job with the county. So you don't want to be mean to folks at the
He
county.
does a mighty fine job.
I try to. Oh yeah. I'll even talk to the people that's trying to just want to come in and run around with cameras.
Eric invites everyone into his
Everybody
office.
is welcome to the toy shop.
Everyone.
They come in. Everyone's welcome.
Mallory, what about you? I know you've got a few pictures.
I do have a few pictures.
And I'm going to say, I'm afraid that Mallory's going to break my heart with these pictures because, like, Mallory is the youngest of all of us, and I'm going to be like, I remember that year. So,
Yes.
you know, she could be a daughter. She could be my daughter.
Yeah.
She
could.
Let's check the timeline here.
No, well, that is true.
Because how old's your dad?
63.
So he's not
Dad
too
don't
much
do that
older
if
than
that's
me.
wrong. No, let's see, I'm 31. So he was on.
I got socks that are 31 years old. No, I'm just kidding.
They don't have holes in them? You have more
I don't walk a lot. I sit a lot.
There's his resting socks.
Yeah.
They're my resting socks.
They're your red socks.
Yeah, maybe,
Yes.
maybe.
No, so I have a few pictures, not as elaborate as Eric's were, but
I'm sorry. I dug through pictures.
I do remember. So there's a picture of my brother and I in front of my grandparents' house, and we were probably, gosh, I don't know, 6 and no, it looks about 7 and 5, and we were on my first horse, and her name was Dixie. She was a little Palomino pony, and bless her heart, that's all I've got to say. She was rode hard. Lord rest her soul. But I remember us growing up, especially when it snowed, we would tie a rope around the saddle horn and a sleigh. We'd tie a sleigh to the rope. We'd have her pull us around.
That's cool.
And we played cowboys and Indians off of her and all kinds of stuff. I remember another year, it had snowed, probably the same year. It had snowed, and we lived on top of a hill, and looking down the driveway on the left side was a fence. So it was a split rail fence, and there was barbed wire in between the sections of the split rail. And Mac and I were both on a sled, and he said, "All right, I'm gonna push y'all." You know, we were pumped. And so he gave us a good old shove, and off we went. Well, we didn't think about us veering off to the left. Well, we did. And so Mac was actually behind me, and I said, "Mac, we're headed for the fence." So we didn't know we weren't smart enough at the time. We didn't have enough common sense to bail. So I said, "Lay all the way down," and that barbed wire missed us by half an inch.
Oh man!
And we got so tickled. I'm just thankful that we didn't end up with our forehead sliced open or something.
Yeah, a scar.
Yeah. So we got away clean on that one. We still do. We always go to my grandpa's every Christmas. It's usually, sometimes it was Christmas Eve, and then most of the time we go Christmas Day. But I was telling Paige and Eric, we'll build not now, but when we were little, I remember us building a gift fort. That's a shame to say, really, but we'd build a gift fort, and the kids would climb in and out of it, and they were all gifts for us. But we're very fortunate and blessed. I mean, just as growing up, we didn't realize what all it took.
Mallory, you've had horses. Did you get a horse for a gift?
I did.
See, I just felt that was the case.
Yes, my one was coming. So I was probably about 11 or 12, and Santa Claus brought me a horse one year for Christmas. And I was so excited, went running to the barn, found a letter in the Christmas tree saying to check the barn. So here I go, bopping off, and lo and behold, there she was, standing in the stall with a beautiful red bow around her neck. I was like, oh my goodness, it was a dream come true. Well, I was so excited, didn't think about it, putting a halter or rope around her neck, and I opened the door, and she's gone.
Oh no!
Yes. So we had the police department, we called the police department, every neighbor that we knew, we went and knocked on their door. She actually ended up across the highway and across 321.
Dang.
And we ended up catching her. But
You're
she
lucky
didn't know where she
didn't get
was
hit.
or anything. Yeah. Or somebody didn't, get killed. But, yeah, we have some entertainment up on, Daddy always called it Happy Hill.
Aw.
For sure.
Oh,
Well, that's good.
So, no, but we have, Lord, there's a bunch of memories. But we're always trying to make more. So with my little one being 2.5, there's something going on every day.
Oh, yeah.
But
do you do Elf on the Shelf with Briggs?
we started it. He touches Elf on the Shelf. He doesn't understand that he's not supposed to touch him. So maybe as he gets a little bit older, he'll be able to
Is
understand.
the elf on the shelf
better.
dangerous? Is that why? That you don't touch him? You
No,
afraid he's going what he's going to
He'll
do?
lose his Christmas magic if you touch him.
Oh,
You're not
wow.
supposed to touch him.
Oh, okay.
So then he's not able to fly and move if somebody touches him.
Dang.
Because he moves every night.
I didn't know there was rules to the elf on the shelf.
Oh, yeah.
And see, I'm so old that I remember there was another elf that looked like the elf on the shelf that was blonde-headed in a green outfit.
But
And we
that
had a
was,
lot of those, and they would jingle jangle. They
Yeah,
had
they
like
made
bells in them.
noise.
Yeah, they'd make this goofy noise.
but they didn't do any. I mean,
And they were just cute. They were kind of scary.
They're kind of scary. But he
Yeah.
had his legs, balled up in a ball. But anyway, who's older, you or Mac?
I'm older.
So
We're
you're
18 months
older.
apart.
Okay, so you got to beat up on him when you were growing up.
Yes.
Yeah.
I
so-
talked for him and everything.
Speaking of the little brother, I'm saying
He's not little anymore. He's not little.
Not
He's a
anymore.
whole head taller than me. So,
and he can talk for himself now.
yes, he can. He's a big boy.
Well, what about your first Christmases with Gavin and stuff? How was that?
The first year that we were together, both of us went all out. Like, it was ridiculous. We spent way too much money. But so his family has a lot of similar traditions as we do.
Yeah.
So both families always do way too much. So
Well, that's cool.
and Briggs is the first grandbaby on both sides. So
Oh, wow.
Yes.
So he's gold,
Yes.
man.
we
he's
just
got it
went
all.
through a toy purge, so Santa Claus can bring more. So he's asking Santa Claus for a four-wheeler this year, and he's 2.5. And he said, "Mom, I want to go fast." So
Oh, God.
we're in for it. Y'all
Yes.
keep me in your prayers.
Just remind him to watch out for barbed wire fences.
No kidding. Barbed wire fences, saw briars.
Anything in the
they're
woods.
yeah. So, no, we're excited to make many more.
All right. That's
So-
cool.
Yeah, it's always a very Merry Christmas.
So how many houses do y'all have to go to? How many Christmases do you have on Christmas and Christmas
Let me count.
Eve?
Oh, 1, 2, 3. We have at least 6 this year.
Oh, my God.
And you do those all Christmas Eve and Christmas Day?
This year it's spread out from the 23rd to the 26th.
Okay.
So that helps a little bit.
That
Well, that's
helps.
good. Yeah, spread that love there.
Yeah. So at least 6, probably more. But
Daggum.
it's-
I guess we
it's
did
fun.
too, but it's just like, but we did them all in one night. We did Christmas Eve. And so like you were talking about the people working at the IHOP, I always volunteered to work when I got working age on Christmas Day because then you got more money, and we didn't do nothing on Christmas Day. It was all Christmas Eve.
Really?
Yeah, so we were done. So Christmas Day was like, so when I worked at Blockbuster, it was a long time ago. When I worked at Blockbuster, and when I worked at Blockbuster, well, I worked at the one in Lenore for a little bit, but I worked at the one in Morganton mainly. And so I would always volunteer, and when I was working at Blockbuster was the year probably most people in America finally got a VCR. So we had 2 movies left on the shelf at the end of it. One of them, I don't even remember what they were, but we had 2 movies left out of the
Wow.
entire store.
But it was a big deal to get your own VCR. I mean, to get a VCR in your house, and you could watch movies anytime. Well, the movies Mom and Dad would let you watch.
Yeah. I felt so grown though when I was able to go to Blockbuster.
And
You know what I mean?
pick out
and
a
pick out
movie?
my own movies. Yeah.
Well, we went to Fox Video a lot and the Raiders, and Miss Helen would tell
haunted
us.
Fox Video.
Miss Helen would tell us, she'd be like, "Now, girls, you can't watch that."
Really?
Yeah, I mean, she was like another mama. She would be like,
She would watch out for all the
she was
kiddos.
watching out for the kiddos, but.
Oh, Ronnie was always giving me the most, disgusting horror movie he could
Well,
find.
no, see, Daddy was talking to Ronnie.
Him and Scott were always giving me, have you seen this? It's gross, man. You got to see this.
Yeah, sometimes she'd be like, "No, honey, you're not watching this.
She's
No, honey.
Go back and pick another movie."
She's like, now, Eric, you don't want to see that. It's just horrible. But I want to watch Faces of Death. No.
No. It was kind of like censorship, but not really. It was like,
Yeah. It was guilty censorship.
It was guilty censorship.
Why are you going to watch that? You don't want to watch that.
I do remember Daddy would take and put soot on the bottom of his boots. And at that time, we had carpet. And it was white, like beige, white colored carpet. And he would put soot on the bottom of his boots. And he would make footprints throughout the living room floor. And Mom, later on, found out Mama wasn't too happy about it. But
I'm sure she was.
With the white carpet.
they always went all out. So,
Well, that's cool, though.
oh yeah. Santa Claus has to have help, you know?
Well, my Santa Claus story like that is, like I said, I was sleeping on the living room couch. And so that's where the Christmas tree was. So I loved it at Christmas because the Christmas tree was in there. It was like my nightlight, this giant Christmas tree. So I loved it. But on Christmas Eve one year, Daddy was like bringing in bicycles through the front door. And I'm laying on the couch and I wake up, because he, like hits the wall and
Well, you
lets
can't
out
bring a
several curse
bicycle
words.
in the house quietly. That's hard to do.
But he hits the door and lets out several curse words or something, and wakes me up. And then he's like, go back to sleep. Because he didn't want to get in trouble. Because I'd woke up and saw him. But he didn't want Mama to yell at him for like waking me up. But that was funny. So.
No, Briggs asked me a couple days ago, he said, Mama, how's Ho-Ho dit down, and he, of course, the way he talked, dit down that, and he's talking about the chimney. And I said, honey, it's magic. It's magic. But he's so excited. I'm excited for him. I can't wait to see his face.
Now, Daddy, when he played Santa Claus, they would say, I don't have a chimney. And he would say, I got a magic key. I can get through any door.
Yeah.
I can go anywhere. And then they were happy with that.
Yeah.
But then he would also come home and tell you which key had like weed on his leg,
Oh, yeah.
That kid was so scared. I had to go get changed.
Oh,
That happens.
That
Yeah,
happens. Yeah, it happens when you play Santa Claus. So funny. Yeah. So I want to see some pictures.
Yeah.
Here.
All right, now.
Let's see some Paige pictures.
We're going back to the old days.
Yeah, all right. Not as old as mine.
I was born
wow.
a little over a month before Christmas. So, we get the, real little baby Paige. And yes, I really was born with that much hair. So,
Cool.
So my little chunky baby picture. But in
So
addition to me, in my family, I'm going to do a couple of these. There were a lot of kids around my age. So, I mean, you see the ones of us that were born within about 2 years of each other in most of these pictures. So we were always together. And these were on Christmas Eve because he was my uncle, but I always called him Paul Bill because when I was born, he acted as my grandfather. Both my grandfathers had passed, so Paul Bill was my grandfather. But his birthday was on Christmas Eve. So that was our excuse to get together on Christmas Eve. And because, of course, I was special, I had to stay till after everybody left, and he gave me extra gifts then.
Wow.
So I got extra gifts Christmas Eve. And then we went back to their house after all the Christmas festivities, and Santa would leave a stocking there. And Santa left a stocking at their house for me until my aunt had to go into a nursing home.
Oh, wow.
Oh.
So, yes. And because, I wasn't an only child forever, and other grandchildren were obviously born. my sister got a stocking, my cousin Mark got one, and then the younger two, Will and Lauren, also got one. But occasionally my Aunt Marion will pull out the stockings as we got older and be like, Lord, you and Mark need new stockings. I'm like, well, they're like 30 years old, so what are you going to do?
Look at the hair.
I know, look at the hair.
I love it.
Look at it. So you've got lots of hair.
You got the 70s hair. Yeah.
You got some 70s hair. You got lots of kids. So, I mean, that's pretty much been my life.
But you have a huge family.
I do have a huge family. My mom is one of 14.
How many cousins?
There are 36 first cousins.
36 first cousins.
Well, no, technically I have 33 first cousins because I have a sister, and then I had a sister who was born at birth, so no, that would be 34. And me, no, that'd be 33. Anyway, math's not my strong suit. The cousin closest in age to me is my cousin Karen, and Karen and I got to dress like a lot.
Really?
Yes, as evidenced by this photo.
Look at that.
Occasionally, they would also include my cousin Dawn in that. So I have tons of pictures of all of us dressed alike. And one of my memories is we would get all the same thing at Christmas when we got to Granny's house, my mom's mother. We would, if one aunt gave one of us something, all three of us got it. They might be different colors, but you all got the same thing. And in the early days, I was an only child. In the early days of my life, I was an only child, and I had a real affinity to be a cowboy.
Oh, all right.
So much so that I carried a cap gun through Williams' grocery store. But I got tired because I was a little kid, and I handed it to my mom. And back in the 70s, cap guns looked like guns.
They look like real guns.
They look like real guns. And my mom's not thinking anything about this, so she's just like slinging this gun around as she's doing her shopping. It scared one of the workers there at Williams.
Oh my goodness.
Here's more pictures of us opening gifts. We're a little bit older here, but that's kind of the chaos, what chaos
I love
looked like at my grandma's house.
Yeah, we would have trash bags that were just wrapping paper.
Yeah.
Yes,
that's
trash
exactly
bags
how we
and
did
trash
too.
bags. But one year, my dad decided he was going to burn all the wrapping paper
That's about so.
from our house, from the early morning gift unwrapping, because at Christmas you have to get up early. I mean, there's
It's a law.
It's a law. You have to get up early. So I mean, we got up at like 3 or something, unwrapped the gifts, and we're playing with our toys, and Dad's like shoving all the wrapping paper into the wood stove. Yeah, our chimney caught fire. This is honest truth. Our chimney caught fire. Flames are shooting out, 25, 30 feet in the air. My dad, he's so civic-minded. He's on the fire department board. We got flames shooting 25 feet in the air out our chimney. He's like, we're not calling the fire department. Why not? He goes, now I can't take those boys away from their families on Christmas.
Oh.
And I'm like,
Well, we're not going to be here.
so my dad stood out in the yard and watched the fire. His mother lived next door to us, and she was a bit of a nervous type. And I'm like, well, what are you going to do when Granny wakes up and has a stroke because our house is on fire?
You got flames shooting out the top of the house.
Luckily, the house didn't burn down. Granny didn't have a stroke because she didn't see it. So we survived that Christmas. But yeah, the chimney fire was quite the exciting Christmas. Here's just some more. I'm in my Mickey Mouse shirt.
I was going to mention the Mickey Mouse shirt.
We've gotten a little bit older, and I guess we're posing by the Christmas tree. But at Granny Toys, that's my mom's mom, there's so many people. Her house was not a big house. I mean, at all. And Christmas gifts would come to the center of the floor. The Christmas tree's on the picture window. Christmas gifts to the center of the floor. The couch is here, so there's this little tiny path that you walk through.
Yep.
And, everybody got around, had a good place to eat. And for some reason, we were in the Christmas parade. Again, this is cousins. And we got to be posed with Scooby-Doo.
I see that Scooby-Doo.
How neat. That's a good one, too.
I don't know how we got on this float. I have no idea. I have no memory of this, but there you are.
And that's funny you say that because I rode my horse in the Christmas parade for years.
Really?
Yes. Usually Hudson. I rode in Lenore a couple times. But yeah, that was always fun. I always look forward to that. And I was in the 4-H club, so we had our whole crew in the 4-H club. Mm-hmm. And then half of everybody in Caldwell County who owned a horse thought, during Christmas time, you had to ride in the Christmas parade.
Well,
so they hadn't pulled them out for 6 months and get them out there, and everybody's like, back up, we might run over you.
But horses used to be a really big thing in the Christmas parade.
Yeah. I remember one year. Mine out. Oh, I bet. Mm-hmm. And I remember
glitter everywhere.
One year, I marched in the West Caldwell band. They put the band behind the horses.
That seems like a bad idea.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we were dodging, man. We were dodging coming down the street here. I remember coming down in front of Center Theater and dodging piles.
Yeah. Or kicking them one.
And trying to play the trombone.
That's not challenging at all.
Not challenging, no. So this is just a picture of my dad helping Allison and I. You can't really see Allison's face, but anyway, she's there.
She's there.
She's there.
You can see the back of her head.
You can see the back of her head. Probably something my dad has to put together.
Yeah, he looks like
look at that tree.
Hey, Larry looks like he's having to really think about it.
Yeah, actually, he might be surprised because Mama may have bought all the gifts and he had no clue.
Oh my goodness, that's so true. Like that is, I'm not saying for you. I shouldn't.
Yeah, you can say for me.
Like it's like Christmas morning. Dad or Gavin or something, they're looking. Oh, what did they get this year?
Yeah, they're like, oh my gosh, I didn't know you get.
Yeah, it's normal, I believe.
But I get a briefing, but it's like,
this is how it's going to be.
Well, no, it's just like, now remember we're getting this and this and this, but we do lists. Kathy's family always did lists. No, sometimes I remember. Sometimes I'm the one having to drive a long way to get it if it's something crazy, but they've always done lists, and in my family it was just like you get what you get.
Yeah,
it was kind of different. So, I mean, you could get we had an aunt that was notorious for giving you like last year's #1 toy that she bought at Christmas sales.
Because it was on sale.
The after Christmas sale.
and you already had two of them?
No. There was one year I was stoked because I got this gun that like I'd wanted like the year before and I totally forgot about. And then like the next year I got it and I was like, sweet. It wasn't a gun. It was a play gun, but it was just like, it did a lot of stuff.
Oh, that's cool.
We did Christmas Eve with my Paul Bill, and then we would do Christmas with both my dad's family and my mom's family. Well, my dad's mom lived next door, so it wasn't a big deal to come to her house, but this is us opening gifts at Granny Nanny's house. And yes, her name was Nanny, so she was Granny Nanny.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Look at the wallpaper.
Yeah. the wallpaper. And that's Santa Claus. Yeah, and again, no, my dad has hair.
He does.
He does have hair in that photo. I pulled this one out because it shows my Christmas stocking. I still have that Christmas stocking.
Wow.
And a lady that my mom worked with, like the year I was born, made that. So that is a very antique Christmas stocking. We're not going to talk about how antique, but it's very antique. And I mentioned my cousins Karen and Dawn, and we traveled in a pack. Well, there we are with Santa.
How funny.
Sweet.
And that's probably like we're 5-ish. So that's kind of how we roll back in the day. And still today, when we're together at a family gathering, one of our mothers will make us get together and pose for a picture, the three of us.
Really?
Oh, wow.
And we'll hear girls, and, there's like 50 girls there. But we know, we know they're talking to us, so.
It's that time.
It's that time.
Yeah.
It's that time. And I actually did. I brought one of my toys. Oh, the year Cabbage Patch was all the rage. She's tied up in a microphone.
She's tied up in a microphone cable.
My mom had our neighbor to make us Cabbage Patch dolls. So this is my homemade Cabbage Patch doll.
That's cool.
And I will say my mom cleaned this up a few years ago and presented it back to us. One, to say this leaves my house. Two, to remind us that we had them. But this was my Cabbage Patch doll, and here's a picture of me receiving it.
Aww.
And this doll's actually wearing an outfit that I wore as a baby.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, Mom put a lot of thought into
really
this
cool.
to give that back to us. So there's my Cabbage Patch doll. And I felt funny carrying it down the hallway because I'm like, it just
Is
felt
she
weird.
okay today?
They didn't know that you had a relationship with the Cabbage Patch doll.
they
think,
didn't know.
it'd be for a gift for somebody or
Yeah,
something.
they have no idea. And here I am opening more gifts, and I brought this picture because of this box that's sitting beside on me. I have some kind of superhero.
What is that, Eric?
That is, and I can tell you, because I had, and this is going to make you even, you're not even going to believe this, but I had the DC version. You got the Marvel version.
I got the Marvel
I didn't get the
version.
Marvel version, but it is a Viewmaster. And it has all the reels of the Marvel superheroes. And I had the DC one with Batman, Superman, and I'm a Marvel guy. But I like Batman. I liked them all. I like all comic books. But that's cool. That's really cool.
So that's,
what are you holding? You're holding like it almost looks like a Sears catalog or something. I think it's the instructions. Maybe it might have
instructions.
but that was a Viewmaster gift set, but it had like a bunch of stuff in it.
How neat.
And so you could do your 3D pictures. Did you have a Viewmaster? Do you know what a Viewmaster is? I'll have to bring you one so you can see it. Yeah, it's like binoculars, but you can see the picture in 3D, and then click it.
Yes.
Because as a kid, you just flipped it. It'd make a big
we did
clank.
have one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we did back before video.
Yes.
Before we had video.
Viewmaster,
Yeah, Viewmaster. They had stuff that was like you could crank it and watch it, stuff like
They had all
that.
kinds of stuff like that, and I have a few more.
These look more modern.
These are a little more modern. I talked about my Paul Bill, and there he is on his birthday, and I'm not even going to make an excuse for that hair because, oh my Lord. But
His hair looks okay.
his hair looks good. Yeah, his hair looks good. But there was always
Look at
some.
Sundrop.
Yeah.
Look at that Pepsi bottle.
Yeah.
That's a little antique Pepsi
It's a little
bottle there.
antique there, but we always celebrated.
Hanging up.
Yeah.
I will
Fish
say
rod.
they're still not glass bottles, so that's good.
Yeah.
Because we had Pepsi in gallon bottles.
And glass?
In glass gallon bottles. I remember
That's
that.
neat.
No, that's old. That's very old.
That is very old.
It wasn't liters, it was gallons.
Lord have mercy. Is that a tater gun?
That is a tater gun.
That's a big old tater
At
gun.
Paul Bill's house, there was always something going on. He was the one that would shoot fireworks. I can say this now because he's departed. So there was fireworks to be shot. Yeah. And his grandson, I think, made a tater gun. So we had the tater gun, shooting it out in Lower Creek. Yeah, but there was always something going on.
We have one too. It's that big.
Yeah.
If none of you have ever tried shooting a tater gun,
I
mean, I
recommend
don't.
it.
Yeah, like not necessarily at anything.
No, because that could kill somebody.
Yeah. Depends on how big the tater is. You know?
It does.
And how much hairspray you've been.
And if you don't know about tater guns, look it up.
Yeah. It's fun.
Okay.
It is fun, yes. And after like I said earlier, we got together with my Granny Toys my mom's side of the family on Christmas Day. But after she died, we didn't really know what to do. So my dear sweet Paul Bill had a house at the head of Mulberry. So we would go up there and cut our own Christmas trees.
Oh, sweet.
And now we did this we had Christmas at my mom's house. We'd had Christmas with probably with my granny and nanny, and then
I love
we
that
would
tree.
make a trip to the head of Mulberry. We would cut down the tree and have Christmas together, probably on the 26th.
Wow.
But the house there, again, was so small that we had to put the Christmas tree in the bedroom because it's the only place it would fit.
You had to fill in the holes with holly.
It had to fill in the holes with holly. There's some corn.
That's how you know you got a real tree.
Right.
Yeah, this one was real.
The one at the top off?
It's just the top off of it.
That's a big top of a tree.
It was a pretty good sized tree that we shaped up for them. But
Just a little bit of pruning.
just a little pruning. And you can see the gifts are starting together there. But there's some corn shuck dolls on there. I think there may even be a popcorn string or something.
Yeah.
But we just took whatever decorations were up there.
So
And
neat.
because we were in the country, here's a picture of the whole family back in the day. It's a
Aw.
little house at Mulberry
With your overalls
with
on.
our overalls on. Apparently,
And your
that was,
pine tree in the back.
yeah, that was another Christmas tree we cut down.
I have those on my front porch this year. I love
So,
'em.
yeah, that's kind of our Christmas. And I mean, since I married Chuck and inherited two awesome children, my first year with them, I was buying stuff for the Christmas stockings, and I got a little carried away. So instead of having a Christmas stocking, they actually had a Christmas tote box.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so
Christmas satchel.
no, they had the full-on Rubbermaid tote. So they made up a
That's
song, "Old Christmas Tote," because I don't do that much for them now because there is a grandbaby that, well,
Yeah.
he pretty much is like the center of the whole universe. So
Yeah, so that's
Nobody
that's where
else
it
really
goes.
No,
Like-
I can attest to that.
like here's your gift card, here's your gift
Yeah.
card.
Here's your gift card.
Yeah. You walk into a family gathering, it's, where's Briggs? Oh, hey. It's been a while.
Where's the baby? Where's the baby?
Yeah.
Yeah, my mom has been counting down the days until they live in Raleigh until they're up here to celebrate Christmas with us.
Yeah. Well, that's just part of it is little kids and babies and seeing everybody and seeing old folks too that you don't see a lot. And that's just part of it.
And
So-
I think sometimes it's about reinventing our traditions because I've
Yeah.
talked about what we have traditionally done, but now, I mean, a lot of the people I mentioned are gone, so
Yeah.
we've had to reinvent and
Yeah.
try to find different things to do.
Yeah.
Well, and it's like, okay, we've had with my family in particular, like he was talking about us having our Christmas at Daddy's, we had everybody together since COVID, and so like my nephew's son Lucian is like 2 years old, and it was the first time Kathy had ever met him.
Oh,
So it's like, there's that, you got that stuff. And then seeing all the kids that have grown for 2 years that you haven't seen. Like we have family that lives in Lincolnton and they're like, then they're like, driving age now. And it's like, oh, okay. How
and
you
you're
doing?
like, you're 10. How are you driving?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, one of them actually did kind of throw me a wrench because he was like, he was mentioning, because they're all so much bigger, but he was mentioning that he was going to join the Marines. And I'm like, wait a minute. I'm like, you're not that old. And he's like, no, but that's what I want to do. And he's like 14. And I'm like, okay, you got a while. You can renege on that if you want to.
Yeah.
You got a while. But he's getting ready to start ROTC, and so he wants to be in the Marines. So he was like, I was like, no, I know you ain't that old.
All right, before we wrap this up, favorite Christmas gift?
Oh, wow.
I'm not asking easy questions today.
I'm probably a little better at that than a lot of people. I would have to say probably this is the boy kids version of the Barbie Dream House. And so it'd kind of be between two of them. I had the Death Star, which was like a 3-level thing for the little 3 3/4 Star Wars people when they come out. I had the Death Star, and that was big. And then there was a bat cave. I had a bat cave between the two of those, probably it, with a big playhouse kind of thing.
Well, definitely. Because I received a horse, my first horse, when I was like, 4 or 5 for Christmas. And then I received the wild one a few years later. But of course, that was something that was completely unforgettable. But there was one Christmas, my grandpa gave each of the grandchildren, there's 8 of us, a rifle. So.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Yeah. So he gave me a 243. And so each of us got one of his rifles, which he has a whole room full. But that's something that you can cherish forever. You know what I mean?
That's never going to go away. It's there, man.
So that, and just seeing him give those to, that was something that was definitely the most memorable, probably. But that was pretty good. I've gotten some pretty good gifts. Very, very thankful. But what about you? What was your favorite?
Well, actually, when I opened it, I had a basketball net. And I was quite confused as to why somebody was giving me, why Santa gave me string.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. Because you can't wrap the other part.
No.
You can't wrap the other part. And my dad and a couple of my cousins hung the basketball goal, which actually was right outside my bedroom. I'm clearly not the sharpest tool here, but they hung it Christmas Eve because when else you gonna?
Yeah, when are you gonna do it?
So, and then Dad took me outside and I had a basketball goal, but because Richardsons are overachievers and the way our house was built, my basketball goal was above the standard height for a goal.
So you were higher than 10 feet?
Yes, because that's where our deck was, and the bottom of the deck was higher than 10 feet, so well, guess what?
So you're going to go big.
There was no dunking on the goal. Well,
You had to crow hop.
Yeah. So
to get it up
that's
there.
one I really remember, but probably some of my favorite Christmases have been since Chuck and I have gotten married and to spend it with the kids and see their excitement.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah. I think the year we got our kids phones, because they were both in middle school, and Brent was a little young to get the phone, and then he was stoked that he had got one too. Caitlin got one, but he had got one too, and he was stoked, man. He was stoked. And I've not seen them without one in their hand since.
I think I was a sophomore in high school, but you couldn't text or anything. The one I got, like that, which I don't even know if they.
Did you get a
If you
flip
could
phone?
No. No.
Not that, or
No, and you could only call like 5 people. Yeah. Which
Did it have was it only had 5 channels you could call anyway? Because they had those for a little bit that were like kid phones that were like.
Yeah, like it was restricted to
it was
just
restricted
those,
to those numbers. Yeah.
You couldn't text or anything.
Yeah.
So.
I remember them selling them at the old Walmart in Little.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember that. And I was like, well, why can't we be cool? Like, which really, come to think of it, no one really used text then. Like when I got my phone, like that wasn't a thing. You just called somebody.
You called them. Yeah.
Which I wish it was more of that still. You know?
Well,
because a lot of things get misconstrued through.
Yes, they do. And I was actually thinking it would be nice just not to have a cell phone.
Yeah,
for a
that's
little
true.
bit. Just to be able to put it down and not deal with it.
Well, I do remember, because I am the oldest person sitting here, I do remember covering in the media how in the future they were talking, I guess this is mid-90s, and they were talking about how people would, love being off the grid. That would be a real holiday, would be to like not be connected. So.
I can agree.
But here we are.
That's the sad part of it.
Final words, final thoughts?
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. That's all I got. Yeah, Merry Christmas.
Thank you for watching us throughout the year. Thank you for putting up with our shenanigans, and we hope you have a Merry Christmas and a happy 2023.
Yes.
Yep. Merry New Year.
Yeah. We hope you guys enjoy time with your families and friends, and just the time together in itself.
And we'll try to have more fun stuff
Yeah.
in 2023.
Yeah, you'll be seeing me a lot more.
Yeah, we'll make her do more stuff.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.